I think the best thing that I did was the placement year that I did between second and final year. And it was a perfect sort of preview to reality of what's like working in a finance team. It was also with an NHS finance team. So it gave me an insight of how healthcare finance works. So which is where I started having that interest in working in that sort of industry. And so definitely the placement year helped, and you sort of get an idea of what sort of skills you must have to get into working as a proper accountant in real life. I also had a great mentor, and I'm still in contact with him. Any sort of questions I have throughout my career, he helped me out with it. So I think those two are definitely the best things I feel like I've done.
The university is a really safe space to learn and to experiment different things. When you're out there, just when you graduated, it's a huge competitive market out there. It's really essential for everyone to stand out in the job market. So when I knew that I was graduating in 2023, and I knew that I was going to face interviews, I was just making sure, what can I do at university which makes me at the best? The first thing, improving my soft skills, is as simple as being proactive in your seminar groups or something like that. Because let's say if you're at an interview and they ask you, tell me about yourself when you were proactive or something, and you're just silent, it just doesn't make sense. Simple things like being proactive in the seminar really helped me out. And at the same time, I think attending a lot of employability events like this, understanding how the market is outside graduation. At the end of the day, when you go into the interview, you have to be speaking about something that you've done. And this has really helped me. I've changed roles 3 times in the past 3 years. And in all my interviews, whenever I speak about this, the interviewer is really impressed with all this stuff.
Make use of the advisors, like career advisors here at the uni, especially your CV, because that is going to get you your first interview. Just speak to a career advisor, ask them to review your CV. That's what helped me get my job. They advise you how to structure your CV so that you stand out when recruiters are going through your CV. Other than that, it's really important for you to start developing your skills from now on.
So you get to pick a module, I think, in your second semester, if I'm not mistaken. And I always picked something that was not related to account, not the number crunching accounting stuff. So in the first year, I think I picked a module called The Role of the Manager. I really liked that because it's nothing to do with numbers. It was more about leadership in a workplace and every other walk of life, really. And that was really good. And I thought, I'm going to continue doing that in my second and third year. That's what I did.
I remember on the day after graduation, just had this sort of imposter syndrome. You start thinking like, okay, this is it. Like, you're not a student anymore. Whereas like you have to go up to people and be like, yeah, I'm an accountant. Like, this is real. You sort of start thinking like, do I even have the sort of skills to actually work in a real life office? I continued that sort of fear in my first few months in my company as well. But it's a fear for nothing really, because you're getting into a role, for instance, in my case, it was a finance grad role. They don't expect you to know everything. They know you don't have enough experience. So you're kind of trying into the role and sort of all the skills you build it with experience. The other worry in terms of employment is definitely the competitive job market. I expected it to be overwhelming, and it was overwhelming for me.
When we are applying for a job, a lot of us think there's 9 skills. If we do not possess, let's say, at least 8 of the skills, we are like, okay, maybe it's not worth applying for that type of job. I think that is false. As long as you have 5 skills and you're really open to learn on the job, you could definitely excel in your job. I think it's really essential to learn it all instead of know it all, because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. There is room for everyone to learn. It is fine to apply to jobs that you feel like maybe you only possess like half of the skills, because at the end of the day, it is a learning curve. Life is a learning curve and you will learn.
As I mentioned previously, I was working part-time in an accounting firm while I was in uni. When I started applying for jobs, I thought it would be easier for me to be called in for an interview, but that wasn't the case. It took me a few months to get into the job market, and my first job was just a temporary job at Warner Brothers, and I think that's what sort of helped my CV stand out. So it's really important. We look for an entry-level job at a well-known company, so that stands out. So when you do want to move on to your next job in your career, that's a very added advantage.
One of my biggest worries was that I would lack the competence and the skill needed to undertake a job. And those fears, lacking the competence and skill, came true because in my first job, post-university, I did lack those skills and I made quite a few mistakes. Accepting those mistakes and doing something about them, that's what you should be doing. Another thing that I was worried about was the dynamics of a workplace. I don't know if how many of you work or have changed workplaces. When you go into a new workplace, well, it's awkward. It's socially awkward, isn't it? It's like, when a character starts up in a movie series like season 5. Yeah, that's why I was at work.
There's a website called Track Jobs, which is it's just mainly for NHS finance or other healthcare related finance jobs. So that's where I found this particular job that I ended up getting. I don't think I found any success in like Indeed or like job hunting websites because it's usually just your CVs run through a software or something. So you might not even get considered for any of those roles. So I'd recommend going directly into their company websites to apply for jobs.
Useful websites I use is to Westminster Engage. That is a really good place where there's opportunities, which some of them are exclusive for Westminster students. I feel like I've seen jobs on Westminster Engage that are not advertised publicly anywhere else. So I think that really gives you guys like an edge over the other job market. Track is a really good website. The government website is a really good one.
Don't be specific about industries. Just get out there, just apply for any finance job in all industries, because once you get the job, it's a lot more easier for you to start scaling from there. And if you're looking for a job, like they said, forget about Indeed, because everyone's looking there, everyone's sort of applying. You'd have like thousands of applicants for one job, so you're not going to stand out there. I'd say have a strong profile on your LinkedIn and start looking for jobs through LinkedIn, because every single job that I've got has been through LinkedIn.
I think LinkedIn is the most prominent place
Yeah.
where you might find a job nowadays. And there's other places, Engage, official job postings from the companies themselves, and have an online presence. That can go a long way. If you're not posting on your LinkedIn and you're not telling people that I've just graduated as an accounting degree, they're not going to know. And there's a lot of hiring managers out there, recruiters, who are going through their LinkedIn every single minute of every single day looking for someone like yourselves with your skills, with your degree. So yeah, do you have an online presence?
My top advice would be obviously start applying early. The later you keep anything, it's just going to be more stressful, I would say. I think being a specialist at something, or let's say having some skill, everybody is different in the world. So having something that is different, everybody is specialized in something. Like somebody is good with numbers, somebody is good with writing a report or something like that. You actually speak about that, I would say.
My advice is to have your core knowledge in accounting and finance. If you have that, doesn't matter which industry you go into, you'll be able to get on just fine. And also, when you're looking for jobs, look for jobs that offer study support. That means then you can work on your exams while you're being employed by the company, and the company covers all the expenses. So by the time you're finishing your exam, and you would have done at least 3 to 4 years in the company, and that would have paid off whatever it is, you owe the company. So I would advise you to do that.
Work hard, work smart, head down and work on those things, like an Excel course. That can go a long way. And do other things outside of your modules, your curriculum. Be different to other people. Have a bit of charisma about yourself. Be charismatic and be a character. You will stand out.